Thank you, Cathaoirleach. Minister, this is probably a question that comes up every year, this time of year, but could you make a statement on any discussions or actions with the Garda Commissioner and on Garda Síochána in relation to a safe Halloween? And I'm particularly concerned about the prevalence of fireworks and the nature and scale and size of bonfires and material that are being put on them.
Thanks, Deputy Minister.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy, for raising this issue regarding safety at Halloween, and I'm very aware of the distressing impact the improper use and misuse of fireworks has on our communities. Every year as Halloween approaches, my department runs a safety awareness campaign aimed at highlighting to the public the very real dangers of illegal fireworks and bonfires. As the Deputy may be aware, I launched this year's campaign in collaboration with the ISPCA, Dublin Fire Brigade and Garda Síochána at the Dublin Fire Brigade Training Centre on the 22nd of September, and I'm sure the Deputy will be aware of the risks posed by fireworks, particularly to children and animals. And I'd just like to thank the media because they give it good coverage to make people aware of the dangers of a firework that goes wrong. And as Minister for Justice, it is important for me to be clear in saying that fireworks, because they're explosives, are regulated under national and EU legislation and can only be imported into the country under licence and stored and sold in accordance with explosive laws. As the Deputy will appreciate, the Garda Commissioner is by law responsible for the management and administration of Garda Síochána, including operational policing matters. As Minister, I have no direct role in these matters. However, I am assured by the Garda authorities that Garda Síochána will be working right across the country to keep people, including their colleagues in our frontline services, safe during the Halloween period. Additional efforts are being made by Garda Síochána under Operation Tombola to combat the illegal importation, the sale and the use of fireworks, and to address related public order and antisocial behaviour. And this operation has both an overt uniform presence and a covert element where appropriate to disrupt firework-related and other forms of antisocial behaviour.
Deputy Matthews.
Thank you, Minister, and I'm reassured to know that such action on fireworks. I was up at Crumlin Hospital late one night, Children's Hospital, and the amount of fireworks that were going off was just an absolute disgrace. And I don't know what kind of an idiot sets off fireworks in a children's hospital that late at night. So we really do need to take action on it. And the prevalence, they seem to be going off for weeks and weeks in advance. Some people even setting them off during the day. I don't know what goes into somebody's head that they want to be lighting fireworks during the day. It is the responsibility of the Gardaí and the fire service and the local authorities, and they do really good work in those areas. However, it can become confrontational when they go to address bonfires, and I really think we need to bring community involvement into it as well. There's neighbours who are intimidated by the level of fireworks, the activity that goes around on bonfires, that some people seem to think it's okay to drag whatever piece of domestic rubbish and waste you have in your house out and dump it on the local bonfire. It's a way of getting rid of your three-piece suite of furniture or fridge freezer or whatever you're having. And the council are left then to clean it up. And it's really unfair on the residents in those estates to be left with that mess afterwards.
Thank you, Deputy. And I do know that the Gardaí do work closely with communities. And the Operation Tombola is directly targeted at delivering a range of initiatives to tackle, of course, the sale of the fireworks, preventing associated public disorder and antisocial behaviour through the incremental deployment, again, of the Garda resources. But I do know that they do engage with communities and through the different forums, and they would encourage people not to be engaging in this type of activity, because fireworks in the wrong hands could possibly mean no hands, because it does terrible damage. I do know in my own county of Monaghan there has been great cooperation between the council and the Garda and communities, where they organise one big fireworks display, and it's very effective and it's very successful. And I think that if communities came together and worked, and if they pooled the resources to put off one decent display instead of things firing off all around the country.
Deputy Matthews.
think that might be something to do, because you don't want to, I mean, Halloween, it's a great event for children, people enjoy it and it's fine. What we just want to do is safety and responsibility, and I would be concerned for people around a bonfire where we don't even know what's been thrown into it and what could result from something being burnt in it, the fumes that come off it, etc., and nobody to marshal it or to kind of monitor what's going on. So maybe that is something that we could look at with our local authorities and our fire services and our Gardaí, one centralised bonfire with marshalling and coordination around. Gurma Minister, thank you.
Deputy Minister to conclude.
Yeah, thank you, and I agree with you, Deputy, and the local government sector messages around Halloween, and they're working with the Garda Síochána, places that emphasis on the fire and safety issues around fireworks, encouraging the public to report if they're aware of people gathering pallets or other materials for bonfires so that these can be safely removed before Halloween, emphasising the environmental damage and the damage to the landscape that bonfires can cause, and indeed the huge distress it causes for dogs and animals. It's terrible, so it is, when you hear these fireworks going off, because they're terribly, terribly distressed, and indeed for older people. So I think the fact, Deputy, that you raised this, it creates an awareness, it creates a need for people in communities to work with the local Gardaí and the local authorities. So thanks for raising it.
Deputy Pauline Tully.
Minister, would you be prepared to put a mechanism in place within Garda stations whereby the victim of a violent crime will be notified of the release of the perpetrator from prison 3 months in advance?
Thank you, and thank you, Deputy Tully, for raising this matter. While Gardaí are committed to ensuring that all victims of crime receive information, protection and support through the criminal justice process, responsibility for notifying victims of crime of the release of a perpetrator from prison rests with the Victim Liaison Office in the Irish Prison Service. The information currently provided by the service covers the obligation under Part 2 of the Criminal Justice Victims of Crime Act 2017 and is a key element of the Victims' Charter. A victim of crime, a member of their family or a third-party person acting on their behalf has the right to request the Prison Service Victims Liaison Officer to enter into direct and ongoing contact with them in order to keep them informed of significant developments in the sentence management of a prisoner. Victims registered with the service are provided with information on when the offender will be released from prison and about any form of temporary release. They are also informed about inter-prison transfers, hospital appointments and court appearances. Victims are also provided with information regarding an escape from custody, as well as being notified about an upcoming parole hearing and the outcome of it. I understand that while every effort is being made to ensure that information on a prisoner's release from prison, temporary or otherwise, is provided in advance, there are some exceptions. On occasion, urgent applications may be considered on compassionate grounds, or prisoners can sometimes be released by court order. In such cases, every effort is made by the Victim Liaison Officer to inform the victim of the prisoner's release within the shortest time frame possible. The Victim Liaison Officer can also provide victims with general information about the prison system, such as the regime in different prisons, remissions on sentences and the operation of the parole board. The officer deals with victims on a strictly confidential basis.